times 10 to the power minus 9 divided by L squared. So our L is equal to what? Is equal to 4. Yeah, it's equal to 4 and squared. So I will check if I got the formula right. So we have pi squared EI over L squared. Yep, we are good to go. So over here, you calculate 200 power 9 times by 306.796 power minus 9 times by shift pi 1 times shift pi twice divided by 4 divided by 4. So it's equal to 37.849 times 10 to the power 3 Newton. I'll do it again. 200 power 9, 306.796 power minus 9 pi squared times by 200 power 9 times by 306.796 power minus 9 divided by 4 divided by 4 is 37.849. Okay. So now if we look at this, okay, give me you. If we look at hold on, if we look at the expression over there, hold on, I'm checking something. Okay. Okay, so now I'll go into the marking scheme. Okay, let's say a question like this come up. Okay, so how will I grade? Okay, so over here, right? So this is the marking scheme. So this is you get a 1 for selecting the correct length. Okay, and then calculating the second moment of area, get a 1. Okay, and then you put everything in over here, you get a 1. Okay, so this is how the marking scheme works. So you have to break down your calculation. You don't put everything together, because if you put everything together, I cannot give you a mark. Okay, so what if now you calculate the I wrongly? For example, now you calculate the I you calculated is 250, for example. Okay, times 10 to power of minus 6, for example. You calculate this way. So if you calculate this way, down here we will give you a 0. Okay, I'll use a different color. I'll use a different color to show you how the grading has been done. Okay, so let's say now you calculate this as 250 times 10 to power minus 6 meter 4. So down here you get a 0. Okay, so over here, right? So when you calculate your P critical, right, you will have your pi squared multiplied by 200 times 10 to the power 9 multiplied by 250 times 10 to the power minus 6, and then divide by what? Divide by 4 squared. And we know that this is the wrong answer already. We already know, okay? So when you calculate it, shift pi squared times by 200 power 9 times by 250 power minus 6 divided by 4 divided by 4. And if your answer is 30.842 times 10 to the power 6 Newton, for example, okay? So I do it again, shift pi times by 200 power 9 times by 250 power minus 6 divided by 4 divided by 4. Squared times by 200 power 9 times 250 power minus 6 divided by 4 divided by 4, 30 point. So if you calculate to get this value, what happened down here is we will give you what? 1 mark. Are we clear? So we what we have done is Your second moment area is wrong down here, so you get a 0. Then if you put in the wrong value and you come up with this number, we will give you a full mark. Are we clear? And this is how, I mean, throughout the years, this is how I find possible to grade based on steps. If your steps is right, so you already calculated the number is wrong already, right? But your steps are right, you should get this number. You should get 30.842 times 10 to the power 6 Newton. If you don't get this number, something is wrong, okay? Unfortunately, I'm not able to award you marks by, okay, so some student tell me, Eugene, I've written this formula, I deserve a mark. What do you think? Right? I get student telling me, Eugene, I've written this formula, I deserve 1 mark. What do you think? Anyone have any opinion on that? I can't give you the mark if the formula sheet is provided, for crying out loud. You get where I'm coming from, right? So it's not just where, oh, I know the steps, I write this formula, I get a mark. It's difficult. Okay, so the fair way is if this number is wrong, right? You put in the wrong number, but you get this number, we will give you the full mark. Okay. Any question regarding the marking scheme before I proceed? Anyone, please?
Yeah, when calculating I,
Yes.
yeah, when calculating I, let's say you put everything right, but you do a calculation error. Do you not get any marks for that?
Say it again.
Like, let's say you put the same thing pi over 4, 0.025 to the power of 4, but then you make a calculation mistake. Do you also get 0 marks?
Yeah.
Okay.
But what happened is down here is a carryover. We award you the mark down here already. By right, the right answer is 37.849. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this one, that's where when you see when I do steps calculation in steps, I write down. That's why I break it down so I know where I make mistake. Make it possible for you to check. Are we clear?
Yeah.
Okay. We have to be trained this way because at the end of the day, when you graduate, you are the one that's deciding what is the size of a structure. And coming out with wrong numbers, we have to be really cautious over here. Okay. That's why how to become cautious in industry is how I train you over here. You check, you check, you check, you check. Period. Okay. There's no other ways, unfortunately. This is engineering. Okay. Right. So
I have
now,
a question.
yes.
If we got everything correct except the units, what mark will we get?
What do you mean by unit?
I mean the units like Newton or
Yeah,
kilonewton.
I don't deduct marks if you forget to write your newtons. Okay, I don't do that.
Okay, and also can you explain why both ends are pinned?
Because moments are equal to 0.
How do you know that?
You remove point B, point A the structure will rotate, yes?
Yeah.
You remove point A, point B, the structure, AB structure will rotate, yes?
Yes.
Moment is equal to 0.
Okay, I get it.
Okay? Okay, so now we have calculated our P critical for now. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to check. So we know that our P critical is equal to 37.849 times 10 to the power 3. Okay, so we also put in that PCR over P, right, is equal to our factor of safety. And we know that our P is also equal to our FAB. Okay, we know that P is equal to FAB, right? So if we rewrite the equation, basically FAB is equal to PCR divided by factor of safety. Okay, so this is equal, so PCR is 37.849 times 10 to the power 3. and then divide by the safety of factor, which over here is 2. Okay, so this is equal to 37.849 power 3 divided by 2. So it's 18.924 or 925 times 10 to the power 3 Newton. Okay, right. So if so once you calculate this, you get your safety of factor correct, you again get what? You again get 1 mark over here. However, let's say whenever I write in orange is when you use your wrong. So however, if you write FAB is equal to 30.842 times 10 to the power 6 divided by 2, right? So 30.842 power 6 divided by 2 is equal to 15.421 times 10 to the power 6 Newton. Can anyone tell me how many marks will you get? Can anyone make a guess?
0.
Huh?
1.
1. You're right. You get a 1. Okay. Why is that? Because your second moment of area is wrong. I already get rid of. I already took away your marks already. But because you put in this number over here and then divide by 2, you get 1 mark. Okay. Now, I need to clarify this. What do I need to clarify? What if, okay, we mentioned that, oh, I grade you or I grade you on steps. What if over here you did not get 30.846, you get 21.02 times 10 to the power 3 Newton. Right? So over here you get 21.02 times 10, even after putting this value over here. So what will happen is this, you get what? You get 0 over here. The correct wrong answer, when I say correct or wrong answer, is because of the 250 times 10 to the power minus 6. You got 30.842 times 10 to the power 6 Newton. That by right should be the answer. But somehow, okay, your answer happened to 21.02 times 10 to the power 3 Newton. So let's say now you calculate this value. So FAB is equal to 21.02 times 10 to the power 3 and then divide by 2. Okay, so you do 21.02 power 3 divided by 2, and now your answer over here is 10.51 times 10 to the power 3 Newton. Can someone make a guess how many marks will you get in 10.51? Anyone, please?
1.
Yeah, you get a 1. You see how the marking scheme works now. Okay, and I have this program on an Excel spreadsheet which you can see. So if the steps are right, okay, you should get 10.51 times 10 to the power 3 based on the previous wrong answer. Are we clear? Okay, so that's how we mark based on so-called procedure. It's impossible if your procedure is wrong or your procedure is right, these numbers are wrong. It's impossible. Okay, right. Okay, so now we know our FAB. Okay, so now we know our FAB. So the next thing that we have to calculate is our ABX. Okay, so what are the next thing that we have to determine? Okay, so the next thing we have to determine. So from here, we know that our FAB, okay, we know that our FAB is equal to 18.925 times 10 to the power 3 Newton. Okay, so we know that. So now, so once come to here, we start to think, how are we going to solve this? Okay, so we can form 2 equations. Okay, we can form, in fact, yeah, we can form 2 equations. So if we look at static analysis, okay, or method of joint, we can say summation of forces in the x direction is equal to 0 we can find the relationship where ABX minus by ADX is equal to 0. Right? And then when we do the positive summation of forces in the y is equal to 0, we can say that ABY minus by ADY minus by FAC has to be equal to 0. So we have equation 1 and have equation 2. Okay. So our main aim from here, our main aim is to determine or find our FAC. Okay, that is our objective. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 5 minutes break. Okay, so I'm going to stop recording. We come back at 8:15. Okay, take a 5 minutes break and we come back.